You don't have anything in your teeth. Your teeth are so white and perfect.
That's what they almost blinding.
They're amazing. Look at mine are yellow.
Go away. Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to thank you for making it to day 2 of the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit. I'm your host for this evening and for the remaining of the summit. My name is Yoshania Clark, and I'm the Abundant Life Coach. This is my baby. This is my debut as a life coach. I dubbed myself as the Abundant Life Coach because for a number of years personally, I was living in a state of just darkness and just being limited in what I was able to do in my mindset. That's where it all was. But coming out, I wish the same for each and every one of you who find yourself operating from that space of just darkness, not feeling worthy, not feeling like you can, not feeling like you are enough. But here on the summit, I have 6 amazing presenters, myself included, and each evening we will show you a different perspective that you can own and tap into this abundance that we speak of. And for a number of us, we associate abundance with just wealth or having a lot of material things. But here we're showing you how you can foster and own this abundance in your life in simple means. And this is the best way to own your abundance, because we know of a lot of persons who have material wealth and possessions beyond measure, and they're still miserable. So we're trying to find our abundance or happiness or purpose and tap into our potential even in our simplest of life. So I just want to welcome each and every one of you again. This is day 2, and we have the awesome Gaby Merediz as our guest host for tonight, our guest presenter. Gaby is a life coach. Most of her work she does with moms, and as a mother, I continually need assistance, and she is that person to go to. So if you're a mom online tonight, you're in the right place. So I will just hand over to Gaby. Thank you again for tuning into another of the series, the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit, and let's have it. Gaby?
Hello. I am assuming it's going to take a minute to flip over for you guys to see me, but I will introduce myself a little bit. I am a life coach I'm mostly moms, but really for women. So I own Make Your Perfect, which is a company that provides connection, coaching, and guidance for moms. And the reason why I really focus on moms is because as women, I think one of the first milestones after marriage where we begin to lose ourselves is in motherhood. So you're a woman, you are a student, you find a career, you have all these passions, you're working on yourself. Then maybe you get married, maybe you become a mom, and then all of a sudden every responsibility that everybody talks about is towards somebody else. You're responsible for raising a life, which is so huge and so purposeful and wonderful and magical, but a lot of times moms, they read that as, they need to give up part of themselves, or they just start to give up part of themselves. So at a certain point, a lot of moms they kind of wake up one day and are like, I don't know who I am anymore. So that's what I do. I am a mom of 2 boys. They are 4 and 6. And they are wonderful and amazing. I am also a wife, an artist, a writer. I love to be outdoors. I love to go camping. I love traveling. I love connecting with other people. I love building communities of like-minded tribes, which makes me so happy that I found you, Shania. It was so crazy how I found her, but it was one of those things that's meant to be. So I thank you, Yushanya, for having me here. I am so into this. The owning your abundant life is just what I work on with the moms that I help. I'm all about that. That's a big part of my journey. So this is really amazing to be here today. But so yeah, I mean, if anything there is abundance of in my life, it's creativity. I am one of those people who has always wanted to do a million things, and I do a million things. There have been times in my life where I have sewn my entire wardrobe. I used to play classical violin, and then I stopped doing it when it wasn't cool anymore, and I was in college, and now I have been teaching myself to play the fiddle because that's something that the kind of music I really like, so why not if I can do it? And somebody once told me that this person, she thought, you can't be an expert at anything if you try to do everything. And I disagree. I think that you can be an expert at anything you want to be if you have the passion for it. And if you have the passion for something, why turn that off, you know? So that is really has defined kind of who I am as a person. So when I was in my early 20s, I had the exciting idea that by 30, I would have my own retail store. I sew, and I wanted a store called Ribbons because I used to have a ribbon on every piece of clothing that I made, and I would sell my clothing out of this store. But, you know, when I thought of this, I remember writing it in my journal when I was, I think, like 19 or 20. And I wrote it in my journal, but, you know, I was like, who am I? I'm not a business person. I don't have a business mind. Who am I to start a whole entire store or to make my income based around something that I'm passionate about? But when I was 30, I started my own business. It wasn't a retail store. It was soon after I had my first son, and I started sewing fabric toys to sell that I couldn't find anywhere else. I started selling those on Etsy. And to make a really long story short, that turned into, short and confusing, that turned into a play space that I now own. So now I own a play space for kids where kids can come and play. Parents can hang out with their kids here. I'm actually sitting here right now, so I'm like looking out into it. Parents come and hang out with their kids, but the beauty about this place is it's not just like a bounce house for kids. It's a place where moms can actually come together and connect with each other, and I'm so passionate about that, and this is my passion. I love that I work doing something so amazing, so connecting with the kids, with the parents, with everybody. And I also own Make Your Perfect, as I told you before, which is my coaching company. So, you know, if someone were to tell me 10 years ago that I would be doing this now, I wouldn't have believed them. I wouldn't have believed that I could have 2 businesses, 2 kids, and be living this dream. So how did I get here? It's been a journey. It's been a journey of self-exploration, self-discovery, just working on myself. And it's still a journey. I'm not at the end. I think life and finding your purpose and all of that is ever-changing. And, you know, for me, it's fulfilling to constantly be exploring that. I think that is the beauty of life and your energy, to be constantly changing and to be really mindful of that, which is something, if you didn't catch last night's presentation, Dina on that last night's presentation talked a lot about living in the present, which is huge. So you should check out the link to that if you missed that. But so I have found through my journey lots of tools to create solid intentions, to follow my dreams, to get rid of limitations, and that's what I want to share with you today. So I'm going to give you guys a little introduction of myself today. Then we are going to go through a little mindfulness visualization of about 5-10 minutes to help you think about your dreams, and we'll talk. This is just kind of a layout of what I'm doing so you know up front, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit. Then with that in mind, we're going to address the limitations that you set for yourself. And then at the end, we are going to come up with an action plan of how you can achieve your dreams without getting overwhelmed. So a little bit of the longer version of the introduction of me and how I got to where I am today. So after having my kids, I have, you know, after the first one, I was immersed in motherhood. It was amazing, and everything I did was revolved around motherhood. Even, you know, with my work, I became a Lamaze instructor. I was very passionate about birth and motherhood, and it was super inspiring to me. So it was part of my passion at that moment. The problem was I was also overwhelmed financially. I was overwhelmed. I became overwhelmed and kind of really, I don't want to say obsessed, but I'm going to say obsessed with becoming the perfect patient, attached and creative mom, you know, that everybody wants to be, and all those bloggers show that you should be. And, you know, I was overwhelmed trying to recreate the passion in my marriage, because through all this figuring out how to be a perfect mom, I had kind of lost how to be a great wife and a great friend. I had trouble connecting with other mothers. I didn't know where to find friends, like real, authentic friends, the way I had before I became a mom. So I was overwhelmed, and I had my 3-year-old. My other son was 1, and it was overwhelming being outnumbered. And there was one day when my older son, was 3 years old, and I found myself one day standing above him in the kitchen. He was throwing an epic tantrum, which my boys are known to throw, if anybody knows them. And I reached down at one point, and I grabbed the front of his hair like I was going to take his head and bang it into the ground. And I stopped myself because I saw, when I grabbed his hair, I saw his eyes glaze over. And he totally lost all connection with me. And I was thinking, like, who am I, you know? Who am I? I'm about to hurt my kid, like I'm a monster. And of course, you know, my kid was probably like, who is this woman that I'm supposed to trust? She's my mother. What is she doing to me? And I gently let go, and I freaked out. I felt like a monster. I was like roaring at my toddler, about to physically hurt him. And I was a person with all this anger, and I wasn't an angry person before. I was losing connection with my kids. I was losing connection with my husband, my family, and I had no idea who I was anymore. I was totally ashamed, and I was afraid to ask for help because I was scared of admitting this anger and this insecurity of, you know, am I supposed to be, you know, a mom? Is this right for me? Who am I? You know, and that's a big insecurity, and like it was a feeling of loss and a feeling of fear, and I just didn't even know how to address that with people I knew. So, you know, I had been searching for a way out of that overwhelm for a really long time. And the way I had been doing it was like I was really in the birth world and the parenting world. So I was reading the parenting blogs and the books and going on the Facebook advice pages for parents that are out there and joining mommy groups. You know, I even went to a therapist who assured me that I was a great mom. But then in my, you know, heart, I'm like, then why am I freaking out on my kids all the time? Why was I about to hurt my kid just because I was so frustrated with him? Like, that was not okay to me. And so, you know, I was trying so hard to do everything for my kids, and I was just becoming a worse and worse mother. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know how to get out of that. And then it hit me. Everything I was doing, the way I was living my life, was in the guise of being the perfect mom. And everything, you know, I wasn't doing anything for myself. I wasn't the wife my husband had met and fell in love with. I wasn't the creative, passionate, you know, like multifaceted, passionate person that I was used to being, that like motivated person. And the worst part was that I wasn't even a better mother out of all of that. I was completely lost. And, you know, I felt like there was nowhere to turn because I had mom friends, but I was just afraid to say anything about this to them. I was afraid to, like, Google anything about it. I was afraid, like, DSS was going to come to my door because they knew my thoughts about, like, how angry I was at my children. And, you know, the other thing is a lot of mom groups their suggestions were like, oh, girl, you need time. You need time for yourself. You get to go have a girls' night out, have some wine. And girls' nights out weren't, you know, getting a babysitter. And then when I would go on girls' nights out, I would be sitting around with all these moms that didn't have their kids around. And I would feel like I don't have that much in common with you, you know, now that you take the motherhood out of the equation, I don't know how to make friends, like real friends, and we don't have that much in common. So, you know, I also noticed like other moms weren't talking outright about their feelings of complete frustration, which made me keep silent at first. A lot of moms, you know, will talk about some frustration, they're exhausted because they're up all night, or that day their kid threw a big tantrum. But every time they were talking about like a real big frustration, I noticed that moms were always saying, you know, things like, don't get me wrong, I love my kids and I wouldn't trade them for the world, but, and then the but would be like, but I really need a massage, or I really need some time for myself, or I'm just really frustrated with my child today. And it was like, you know, I was like, you know, I don't even feel like I wouldn't trade them for the world. Sometimes I feel like I would trade them. I would trade them for my old life that was filled with passion and creativity and motivation and freedom. And, you know, and so then that would like hold me back, and I wouldn't want to say things to them because I was like, well, I kind of do want to trade my kids sometimes. But some days I don't. But some days I do. So, you know, the other thing is, like, while I really felt like I knew who I was, and by the time I had kids, I still didn't have a career I was satisfied with. I didn't have the financial freedom I had hoped to have at that point in my life. And, you know, the more I worked so hard and failed at trying to be a better mother, the more those aspects of myself that I was trying to work on or would have worked on in the past just went further out of reach. So it was scary to think that in my quest to become a better mother, I had not only not found the solution to that, but I had lost every other aspect of myself. So for the next few years, I started to turn things around. Number one, I stopped reading all of the books and the blogs and the mommy groups and seeking outside myself for answers. I did something a lot of moms don't do, and I put myself first, because for me to find the answers within my heart and within my intuition, I had to put myself first. And that wasn't easy. I felt selfish. I felt guilty. But as I started through the process of rediscovering myself, I realized that it was changing me as a woman and as a friend and as a wife and as a mother. And it really opened my eyes. When I talked with other moms, you know, I started to be really honest about how I felt and how I was taking time for myself. And as I told my story, I heard mothers say over and over to me, oh my gosh, thank you so much for opening up about that, because I feel the same way too. You know, not the like, well, I wouldn't trade them for the world. My children, bless their heart, you know, but I'm having a tough time. But like a real, like, I almost hurt my kid today thing. People were saying thank you. Other mothers were saying thank you for admitting this. So all of a sudden a world opened up where, you know, moms didn't have to hide their shame anymore about this, and we could talk about this feeling of inadequacies, this feelings of anger towards our kids, and you know, that desire to trade motherhood for what you had in your previous life. So I had to work on myself. I had to work on my confidence, on my instincts, my passions. I had to rekindle myself of my mission in life and my fulfillment, my sense of fulfillment, where I got that from. And I had a lot of repairing to do with my kids. It is probably just like this year, you know, 3 years for me to reconnect with my son. And now he comes up to me all the time and gives me these sweet little kisses out of nowhere, and I love it. And sometimes I honestly feel like maybe he's doing that at the times when he feels like he's about to lose me, and I think it's huge that he's coming and connecting like that. But that's a whole different story. But, you know, and I also had to repair my relationship with my husband and bring some of that passion back. So there was a lot going on, and there was no map for it. Like, this was a journey there was no map for. There's a lot of maps out there for reconnecting with yourself and for this kind of like self-discovery, self-reflection stuff, but none of it really is there for moms. And moms are dealing with something different in life because we have typically less time than somebody without kids. You know, I didn't have hours or even minutes to spend on like mindfulness meditations or, you know, taking time for myself. So it was figuring it out within the realm of motherhood. And motherhood is super amazing to me and super motivating and fulfilling. So that's, you know, my big thing is working on who you are within the are, you know, and not trying to put one thing aside, but trying to really embrace all the aspects of you to bring yourself the most balanced and connected and fulfilled life. And so, you know, I created my own map for this. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys. That's what I share with my coaching. So, thank you. Sorry, that was a long introduction. I'm going to start, you know, by talking about the very beginning. So what if you don't even know what you truly want in life? Okay? That's when we're bogged down by work and by all of the stuff that we do on a daily basis. It can be really hard to even, you know, people are like, okay, all right, who do I want to be? What are my dreams? I don't freaking know, because I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, you know, get ready for work. My kids are in there bugging me. I don't even have time to shower. How am I supposed to know what I dream? You know, what my dreams are, what my purpose is, how I to be fulfilled. So that's what we're going to start with today, okay? What I want you to do, we're going to start with a little meditation. Before we do that, I want you to grab a paper, a pen, something to write with, just whatever. It can be your journal. It can be a blank piece of paper. It can be your iPhone. We're not going to turn that on yet. We're just going to, or pull that out. Yeah, just have it next to you to write on after we do the meditation. Go to a quiet area if you're listening to this like in front of the TV or with your spouse or with your kids around. If you can, try to go somewhere quiet, at least maybe plug in headphones, because I'm going to ask you to close your eyes in a minute. If you do have to miss some of this, you can come back to it later. Shania is going to be emailing you the link for the replay, or I think the same link will be for the replay. So I am excited to get started with you. We're going to do the visualization, then we're going to talk about your limitations. We're going to come up with an action plan for you to get to that dream that you're going to figure out in the visualization, okay? At the end of the session, I'm going to give you guys 3 bonuses too. One bonus is going to be an hour-long coaching session with me, a full hour to ditch that overwhelm, realize your dreams, kind of help out with what might have begun during this presentation. One of the other bonuses is you're going to get the Find More Time in 7 Days e-course, which is normally $29. You're going to get that for free. And then you're going to get a copy of the meditation that I'm giving you, that I'm doing with you. So I'll give you the links to that at the very end of the presentation. Stick with me and you'll get all of that. And we are going to begin the visualization, okay? So I want you to close your eyes. Don't look at me because I'm going to be reading it off and you don't want to look at me doing that. Keep your pen and paper nearby, but just get comfortable. So start to settle in. Sit down if you want. You can lie down if you want. But settle your body, you know, wiggle, get out the wiggles if you need to, and just get really comfortable for this. Okay? Close your eyes. And just begin to slow down your breath. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. Breathe in again and let it out through your mouth. We'll just sit for a moment here. You keep breathing deeply and I'll talk. As you begin to let go of the stressors of the day, just keep focusing on your breath. Imagine every time you breathe in, that breath is bringing energy and clarity into your body. Your breath comes in your nose, it fills your head, it moves down into your body, cycling all the way to your fingers and toes, and it brings power to your center. And then it flows out again. Take another breath and visualize this energy, body-filling inspiration that the breath brings you. And then let it flow out. If you can't still the thoughts that are swirling through your brain, don't even try to stop them. Just let them flow in and let them flow out with your breath without even dwelling on them. These thoughts are a part of you. They're a part of your world. Let them flow in and let them flow out. Focus on this feeling of energy flow and without you. Just breathe for a minute. As your mind begins to clear and as you relax, really sink into that feeling. Enjoy the way your body feels. Enjoy the way your mind feels clear. Visualize yourself in your ideal space, in your ideal place. Where is that? Really picture it. Put yourself there. Take a deep breath in this ideal space. Feel how amazing it feels to be here. With your eyes closed, look around your ideal space behind your eyelids, in your mind. Your body is there. What surrounds you? Remember this feeling of bliss in this ideal space. This is exactly where you want to be. This feeling of bliss is part of you, and you can access it at any time. So take this feeling of bliss. Let it take you exactly where you want to be. Let it take you to the ideal place you want to be, not today, but sometime in the future. It can be next month, next year, in 5 years. You are living with this constant feeling of bliss. Where are you now in this vision? What are you doing? Who are you with? Are you seeing yourself working? Are you doing something leisurely? What accompanies this feeling of bliss in your vision? Are you feeling powerful, inspired, motivated, calm maybe, clear? Hold on to this feeling for a moment while you breathe. Live in this feeling for a few moments longer. Really be with yourself in this space, doing what you're doing, living as you're living in your vision. Sit with it and experience it as fully as possible. I'm going to give you a moment to do that. And breathe those really intense feelings in through your body as your mind pictures the ideal future you. All right, we're going to begin to come back to the present. Remember the feelings you feel in your vision, and know that this is you feeling these feelings. These feelings are a part of you. They exist, and you can access them at any time. Acknowledge the you in your vision, and know that you have access to this part of you always. Okay, so begin to pay attention to your breath again. You can breathe normally again as you slowly come back to the present. Take your time. When you're ready, open your eyes. Hello. If you were watching me the whole time, you might have noticed I was really kind of getting into it there and starting to sway a little bit, and that felt really good. So before you really do anything else, grab that notepad or whatever you have to write with and write down what was meaningful about this vision. So what really hit you when you were doing this visualization exercise? Just write that down real quick, the most important or meaningful or surprising part about it. I'll give you a chance to write that down. Okay, so now write down what were you doing in the vision of the future you. It would be fun to hear you guys share this at the end during the questions, what you were doing. So feel free to do that. Now write down the emotions that you were feeling. So when we were talking about those feelings, how are you feeling when you envisioned your future you? Write that down. You can share that with me at the end. Okay. So how are you feeling about what you saw in that vision? Be honest. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Were you excited about what you saw? Or are you just like, yeah, this is like a dream this girl just put me in. This is an unrealistic notion. You know, if you're like most people, there is a part of you that's negating that as real. But that is real. That is a part of you. That dream is accessible. We just have these deeply rooted beliefs that keep us from achieving what we really want to achieve. So, you know, if I had listened to those voices, I would never be where I am now, running a kids' play space in a community for moms and being a life coach for moms. I would have stopped when I was like, who am I to do this? You know, one day I am going to play fiddle with one of my favorite bands, Driftwood. I'm going to get up on stage. I'm going to go to this music festival that I go to. I'm going to play fiddle with them, and I'm not going to let these limitations hold me back, you know, these negative thoughts that I tell myself. So you set your own limitations. That's the thing. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm not going to play fiddle one day because I'm not a good violin player. It's like if I tell myself I'm not a good violin player, I won't play fiddle with them. But I'm so passionate about it, and I am a great violin player. I need some practice, and I can do that, you know? It's not the outside world that sets your limitations. So that's what we're going to talk about next. I'm going to give you some steps. So keep your notepad handy. I'm going to give you some steps to working on figuring out what your limitations are and how to push past that. I know a lot of us feel like our outside circumstances are what gives us limitations. And I know at one point you, Shania, felt like that as a single mom. Dina, the presenter from last night, I'm sure felt like that. You know, she has an experience that she shares in her presentation, and you should watch that. And it's easy to feel like outside circumstances are limiting you. But you are the only person who can ever limit you. You know, it's funny because I went through part of life where people always tell you can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. And then, like, after college and after I had trouble finding a job that I really enjoyed, I was like, these people are lying. You can't be whatever you want to be when you grow up. And that was my limiting voice. Like, yeah, you really can. You can do whatever the hell you want. So get to it, all right? So I'm going to help you get to it. The first thing you need to do is be aware of your negative self-talk. So a lot of times we don't even realize that we're talking negatively or putting ourselves down. And hold on, I need a sip of water. But, you know, I would never have thought that I was using self-deprecating talk, but even now, like, I find things coming out of my mouth like, there's just not enough hours in a day, or I don't have the right connections to make it big with what I do, or, you know, oh, I don't want to be famous. I just want to change the world like one person at a time. And all of those statements kind of take away our power. They're just excuses, but they start to form our subconscious belief system, and they stop us from moving forward. They keep us stuck. So it's important to move past those. And so, you know, we need to change it, but first we need to become aware that we're doing it and what we're doing. So how can we become aware of it? One thing you can do is listen to other people. So if your husband tells you you're a nag, or if your mother tells you you're negative, they may be exaggerating, okay? I'm not giving them, like, full props on this. But there might be something to that. Those might be the people to let them know, hey, like, I'm going to do this little exercise coming up. Can you let me know when you say I'm a nag, to ask your husband, can you tell me what exactly I'm doing? just to see if there's something that you're not really looking at yourself objectively about. And you know what? Like, what he sees is probably different than what you see, and then maybe than what actually is out there, but it might open up your eyes to some things that you say or things you do or the ways you say them that are negative self-talk, okay? Okay, so the second thing is to listen to yourself. The best way to do this is to listen to your answers to people's questions. So, if somebody's like, how are you today? You know, hey, how are you? And you're like, fine. Listen to that. Start noticing how you respond to the question of how are you. You know, when people ask, do you want to go out tonight? And you say, I can't. I have so much to do. Or when people, you know, even like, what's for dinner? And you answer, I don't know. I have such a hard time making decisions about meals. All of those are negative self-talk. That all of those things you say to yourself are things I want you to start keeping track of. Most people answer like a lot of questions with some form of an excuse. So listen to all of this, and I want you to keep a list of these sentences, these phrases that you're telling yourself that are negative self-talk. Keep a pen and paper in your purse, in your pocket, on your phone. I write it in the notes on my phone, or sometimes record it into the voice recorder on my phone. And I will tell you, like, I still do these negative self-talks. A lot of times when my kids are freaking out, I have some version of like, why am I a mother, or am I supposed to be a mother? And I have to stop that. The other night, I did it for this webinar. I talked to Yashanya and I said, I don't know if I'm feeling it. I don't know if I'm feeling this webinar thing. That was my limiting self-talk. I was about to not do this because I was telling myself I wasn't feeling it. That doesn't mean anything. That's my limiting self-talk right there. And with her help and my self-awareness of this, I quickly talked myself right back into where I'm supposed to be. But it's super interesting when you start noticing what you say and how often you say the same types of things. One of my other things that I say often is, oh, I don't even have time to take a shit. You know, like when your kids are around. Sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to swear on this, but I swear a lot. You know, your kids are around, whatever, you get to the end of the day, you've had so much to do, and you know what? It's really not about not having time to take a shit. You just have to reset your priorities. So keep a list of these phrases that you tell yourself, and at the end of the week, what I want you to do, so keep track of it for a week. Today is Monday. On Sunday, because you probably have more time on Sunday, I want you to sit down and pull out the list, okay? Rewrite it onto a piece of paper with like the phrase, each different phrase that you use that you kind of recognize that you used throughout the week. And it can be like anything, like, oh, this has to be perfect, any of that stuff. Write it down. Don't question it. Don't be like, I don't know if that's what she meant. If you think that, it's what I meant. Write it down, leave a space under each one so you have more room to write under each phrase. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting and really eye-opening to take a look at all of the stuff that you say a lot, and you might be surprised seeing it in writing. So even though your mother and your husband probably aren't right, there might be some aspect of like, oh, now I see what they're talking about. So that gives you a chance to become aware of it. And once you're aware of what your limiting self-talk and beliefs are, you can begin to change them. So the next thing I want you to do is below each phrase, write a new phrase, okay? And I want this to be a positive version of the phrase you just wrote, okay? So if you always answer, I'm okay, you know, when people ask you how you are, write, I'm great, below that one. If you always say, I have so much to do, change it and write down something like, I'm such a motivated person, or I'm so grateful that I'm passionate about so many things. If you always say, I can never decide what to make for dinner, write down, I love making healthy meals, or, you know, my favorite food is tacos and I could eat those every week. So of what you just said, but rephrase it to be positive. And at first, it's going to seem kind of silly, but these phrases, they have to work for you, okay? So they have to work for you, number one. They're going to sound a little silly, like they're going to sound maybe like you're lying a little bit or you don't quite believe what you're writing. Write it anyway. Keep it realistic to you and personal to you. Keep it short enough so that what you're going to do is you're actually going to now pocket this list and keep it with you again for another week. Or, you know, this is something I actually do all the time, all year round. Go back to this list when you find yourself, especially when you're like stuck in a rut or feeling really negative. But go back to it and read the positive phrases that you wrote and say them to yourself. So you're going to start memorizing them, and you won't even have to pull out your list anymore. When you start to say the negative one, you will just say the positive one, and it's going to be like a new mantra for you. And it's really important. You can actually retrain your brain and change the connections in your brain, which is so cool, to think differently. So your belief system will start to change. And it takes time. A lot of these things you say to yourself are a result of like a really ingrained belief system. And it's going to take time to change, and it's kind of exploratory. You know, the negative things that you say to yourself may change. And it's important. That's why I think it's important to keep this up on a continual basis. You don't have to do it every day or every week, but, you know, come back to it periodically throughout your life. And so if you had a specific negative thought to that visualization we did, what you saw yourself doing in that visualization, or how I asked how you felt about it afterwards, write that down right now on your notes. Okay? If there's something like when I said, how do you feel about this? And you're like, oh, like that's unrealistic. Write down what you said to yourself in your head. And write down anything else that you can think of right now that you say, that's like a thing you say that's a negative limiting belief here. Okay. So these deep-seated beliefs aren't necessarily your core beliefs. Your core beliefs are the positive ones. You've just trained yourself for so long, and society has trained you, and your family and friends possibly, and the people who surround you have trained you to keep the limiting self-beliefs up, and you've trained yourself to do that. So it just takes time to remove them and get to your core beliefs, which are like the real ones, the confidence, the abundance that's in there. So once you do that, that is really, really exciting, right? You've got your vision right now. You've got a way to recognize what your limits are that you're setting for yourself and how to remove them. And so we're going to talk about how to take action now, okay? You have the clear vision. You've done some homework to begin to change your limiting self-talk, but you really have to move, you know, and take action in order to change your life. If you're doing the same thing every day, day in, day out, you have the same routine, and you're not getting closer to your dream, that's because you're not changing. You need to change something to get closer to your dream if what you're doing right now isn't working. There's something I say often, but it's really true, that if you want to change something in your life, the only way to change it is to change it. And it sounds so obvious, but how many times do you see people doing the same thing over and over and over again? I mean, you probably see it in everybody you know, and it's easier to see objectively from the outside, but you see people just bashing their head into a door over and over, and their life isn't changing. They're like, but I do this, but I do this, but I do this, nothing's changing. And it's like, but those things that you're doing are those same things, so nothing's going to change. I heard somewhere recently, it was like, there's something about, and I forgot to look it up, I need to look it up. Someone said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting something to change when it doesn't. So that's interesting to see if that really is a definition of insanity, but it's insane to think that you can change something without changing. So this is the time to think about action and taking change and doing something different to achieve your dream. So take a quick moment to draw back that feeling of bliss you were doing, remember what you were doing, what that perfect space was, where you saw yourself. Okay. Now quickly jot down some things that you're doing in your life right now that are aligned with that vision. So things that support that vision that you saw at the beginning of this presentation. So what are you doing in your life right now that goes along with that vision, that can be leading you there? Just write a few things down. And then write down what is happening in your life that is not aligned with that vision. Okay, so what things are not supporting that vision? Write those down too. So if you had a thought now like, it was in my dream to travel more, but something that is not aligned with that vision is the fact that you are the sole breadwinner and you have to keep your full-time job that you have right now, or you feel like your full-time job that you have right now is keeping you from traveling, then that would be something that's not helping to support your vision. But maybe the travel that you do in your full-time job is something that is supporting your vision. Okay, so write that down. And okay, now write down next to one of those things, okay? One of the things that is not supporting your vision. Just look at one of them and write down how you want that to change in a year. What do you want that to look like in a year? So, do you want to have a different job? Do you want to travel more in the current job you have? Write down in 1 year from now how you see that thing that is hindering you from achieving your dream, how you see it being different. So just take a minute to think about that. Eventually, what I want you to do after this presentation, look at the other ones. Do the same things for the other ones. You don't even have to do it tonight. You can save it for next month. Maybe think about one at a time. It can be overwhelming to try to envision the goal and take action all at once. But so now you've got one of the things that is keeping you back, and you've written how you want that to look in a year. Now write down what you would have to do, one or two things you would have to do within this next year to achieve what you want that to look like at the end of the year, by this time next year. Okay, so what do you need to do this year to get that vision of where you see yourself in a year, to get that to happen? Write that down. Then write down what you need to do this month to get that to happen. So obviously it's going to be something smaller. Just one thing that you need to do this month that could get you closer to your dream and closer to removing the things that are hindering you. We're getting closer. So the last thing I want you to write is what you can do tomorrow, okay? Any little thing that you can do tomorrow to bring you closer to that thing that you wrote about how you want that piece to look a year from now, okay? So when you think tomorrow, that's like, oh my God, she's asking me to do something huge tomorrow. No, I'm asking you to do what you think you can do tomorrow. What could you possibly do just really quickly tomorrow, okay? And I want you to do it tomorrow. So now you've got it. You've got your plan. You've got your dream. And I am going to be sending you a link right now. Let me find it. I actually had planned to have like this whole beautiful picture on when we were meditating earlier, and I forgot to put it on. But bear with me 1 second. I'm going to find my pictures here, and I am going to share them with you so you can see these different links that I am about to share with you, so you can get this meditation. So this meditation that we did was really, Geez, I can't talk while I look for it. I'll look for it in a second. All right, it was really great for envisioning your dream. When you feel lost, when you feel stuck in a rut, when you feel like, oh, how do I, like, what do I do with my life? Do that visualization exercise again, and that's what I'm looking for the link for. I've got that for you. You guys are going to all get that. If I can get it on here. It's here. You're here. I see you. Let me see if I can screen share it with you. That was another thing, speaking of which, that I was going to say on this webinar was something about how I am not technologically savvy, but I actually like created a whole new website in 15 minutes, like before we were on here. So I guess I'm not as technologically unsavvy as I thought. Okay, so sorry, I'm going to scroll through these really quick before, because I'm trying to find that one. Okay, no. Here it is. Right? Technology. I am technologically savvy. That's what I write down when I am changing my limiting self-talk. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. This is the link to get the meditation. I actually have to just fine-tune it a little bit, but everybody will get an email with this meditation if you go to this link and sign up to get the meditation, okay? So the link is http //EEP as in Paul, URL.com/B as in boy, U for A as in apple, O, B as in boy. Go there, put in your information. You can get that meditation there. So you can come back to this when you are feeling a little bit lost, and you can remember your dreams, and you can come back to those feelings you had about your dreams. Okay, so the next link I want to share with you is just my my website, makeyourperfect.com, because it's all about, it's not, you know, finding your perfect, and what your perfect is like a noun. It's like your perfect everything, and it's what's perfect for you. So on this website, I write a new blog post at least every week. A lot of it is self-care stuff, so even if you're not a mom, it's really applicable to just like getting back in connection with yourself and with other people and with what's important in your life. I am kind of a tell it like it is person, so I find like the blog post to be a little more real sometimes than some of the fluffy stuff that's out there. And it's a place you can really feel like, oh yeah, there's someone here who gets me. So you can check that out. It's on Facebook too, facebook.com/makeyourperfect. And then one of the bonuses that you get with this call, in addition to the free meditation, is dun, 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 a free 60-minute coaching session with me. So we can do a lot in 1 hour. I mean, a lot. I was just talking to someone who really just got like totally going and got into action on all the stuff she wanted to do, and it was amazing to talk to her. So you can go to ditchtheoverwhelm.makeyourperfect.com and sign up for a free session with me. No catch. Just sign up. You want to chat about the dream, the vision that you envisioned, some of your limiting self-talk that you've become aware of, how to take action. Maybe you know what your dream is and you're like, you've been stuck with the taking action part and that's overwhelming you. We can work through that. So go to ditchtheoverwhelm.makeyourperfect.com. That free session is going to be available to you until Saturday, August 8th. So you can take the session down the road, but go and schedule it by Saturday. And then one more thing. This is really huge too. So this is a free e-course. This is another bonus for you. It's typically $29, but you're going to get it for free if you go and grab this by Saturday. So just click on the button, go to findmoretime.makeyourperfect.com/abundance. If you see the one that's not free, that's because you didn't put in /abundance. Put that in. That's your special link to get this for free until August 8th, also Saturday. Click on the Yes, I Need This button when you go there, and you will get this free e-course for yourself. It's seriously going to help you get more time. So if you're like, I don't have time to journal, I don't have time for this meditation. By the end of this week, when you do this course, you're going to have the time. It's amazing. So you get that for free, just for hanging out with me and listening to this presentation and getting to know yourself a little bit better. So now you've got even more tools. And then the last thing, so if you're not sure about, what you need, but you just know you need a little bit of support, a little bit of somebody to just be behind you, give you some tips, get tips, like create that tribe, that connection with other people who get it. I also offer group coaching. If you go to makeyourperfect.com/powerhouse, you can get more information about the group coaching there. That is an awesome way for a bunch of women who are very, working on the same things or working on things in a similar fashion, I should say, to get together and really support each other. That is a paid group, but there's more information about it on my website, and I'd love for you guys to join that. But take advantage of the free bonuses that I just gave you the links for. And I am so grateful to you guys that you are here today, that you are on my journey with me, that you are on a journey for yourself. I really, truly think that the more people that can connect really authentically and honestly with themselves and with others, I think it's going to make the world a better place. So thank you, and I wish you all the best. I'll pass it over to you, Shania, now, I suppose.
Oh, wow.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, guys. Thanks for staying with us. Gabby, one question I did get about the meditation, is that a part of your program?
So in my program, and hold on, I'm trying to turn off the picture now. Okay. Right? Because you want to see me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I turned it off. I think you'll see my face in a moment. No, you won't, because I have that thing on. Oh, did you see any? You didn't see any of those, did you? Whatever. I told them to you guys. Okay. So you can see me now, though, right?
Yes.
Hi. Okay. Your question was, do I include that in my coaching? So in my programs that I do one-on-one with people, I actually will put together different meditations for them, whether it's it's usually what we'll do is if someone has a certain something that they want to work on, I will create a meditation for them to do during our next phone session.
Okay.
And a lot of times it becomes something that other clients can use as well. So if it's something that I think a lot of people will want, I'll record it and send it out to all of my clients.
Oh, beautiful. All right. I like that one we did. I wrote down my own stuff, but I won't share just yet. I won't share just yet. Gabby, we are just about at that marker. You did an amazing job. I love the self-disclosure because, like you said, not a lot of us mothers really want to air when we get into that monster mode. But there you are. And that's just making you perfect. And I hope that all the mothers and mothers-to-be will, when this happens, you won't feel like an alien. We all had that monster moment, if I may say. But it's learning and growing past that. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to you again, Gabby, for agreeing to this. I know you weren't feeling comfortable. I had my moments, and I probably got to make a quick stop. What we spoke of earlier. But we'll be fine, and it's all a learning process. Guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for making the time out to just start this quest, start the journey. Simple steps, baby steps. It's all that takes in the right direction. And pretty soon, we'll have stories to tell to help others along their own journey. With that, I just want to say, gear up for tomorrow. I am up. I'll be your presenter. So tune in. My topic. Woo! My topic for tomorrow is Uniquely You, the new revised version. And I'm just beaming because I've revised myself so many times. I don't know what number it is I am, but that works. I march to my own drum, and so can you. So gear up for tomorrow, and I'll see you And with love, here's to an abundant life. Thank you.
Thank you, Yeshania.
Bye, Gaby. Thank you.
Bye.